Wrapping up this weekend's playlist on WrestlingInc.com. And again, we've been advertising it all weekend long. We have the details out for our annual WrestleMania Day Party. We will be back at Spirits on Bourbon, the famous Spirits on Bourbon. You can see them on Bar Rescue. We'll be there from 1 to 3 p.m. local time on WrestleMania Sunday. Of course, the entire CSR crew will be there. We'll have an unprecedented 3 special guests. We'll have Mr. Anderson, Tommy Dreamer, and Noelle Foley. Free to get in, free Q&A. If you want to do the meet and greet, if you want to get up and get a picture with Tommy, $20 for Tommy, $20 for Ken, also $20 for Noelle. And then there's a special VIP package at $160. There's only 6 spots. Only 6 spots for this VIP package. And it will get you lunch with Noelle, your food's included. You'll get to meet Tommy, meet Ken, meet all of us, do a social media video with us. It'll be a great time. Again, only 6 of those spots, and they will go on sale on Friday, March 9th at 10 a.m. Eastern, only on TicketKingOnline.com. It's the only place where you can go on and make the official purchase.
Excuse me, Justin. What about me? What about lunch with @JoshEisenberg4?
That's a consolation prize. Yes, that is there.
A consolation prize? Come on, man. I mean, I know Noelle has the female and the looks and everything like that, but I'm wearing this pink jacket today. At least give me a little love.
Well, there is the famous barber chair at Spirits on Bourbon where you can sit and you get a very generous lap dance shot.
True.
So maybe you can be in charge of that. That'll be your department. All right.
Okay, I guess I'll take that.
So we'll all sit around. We'll talk about WrestleMania. We'll have some drinks. It'll be a fun time. And then, of course, later that night is the big extravaganza. Josh, I ask you this question. Seth Rollins or Finn Balor, who is in more desperate need of a big marquee match at that event?
This sounds like a great WrestleMania debate, LeBar.
It is. Let's do it.
It is. I'm going to take Seth Rollins, and I'll tell you why. Seth Rollins, the Kingslayer, a guy that, aside from missing WrestleMania 32, he's Mr. WrestleMania, Justin. He is Mr. WrestleMania because his 2 WrestleMania appearances to date, I know he had one obviously previously, but I'm talking about the ones at WrestleMania 31, one of the greatest moments in the history of WrestleMania, cashing in and ending the night at Levi's Stadium with having everybody in shock whenever he defeated Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and then also following up 2 years later in slaying Triple H in a memorable match as well. You got to give Seth Rollins an opportunity. I spoke with this in my Men's Elimination Chamber predictions a little bit. You got to give Rollins an opportunity to main event WrestleMania 34. I know they want Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, but this means so much more for Seth Rollins to have a bigger marquee matchup. That's the marquee. You know, you look at Finn Balor, obviously missing WrestleMania last year, but when you see Finn Balor, you know that he has so many more WrestleManias left. He has so many more opportunities and moments. He's just not at the level right now of Seth Rollins. That's not a knock on Finn Balor at all, but I think the only guy at the level of Seth Rollins is an AJ Styles, and Seth Rollins may be just slightly better, as we've seen in the past couple of weeks.
Well, I think we're getting a little quick to the draw to be declaring Seth Rollins a Mr. WrestleMania just yet. But
why not? Why not, Justin? He has had 2 memorable WrestleMania moments.
2. Okay, how about The Undertaker's had over 20? How about Triple H?
I'm talking about Shawn Michaels being Mr. WrestleMania. And yeah, he's had great matches, but Seth is the modern-day Mania. This is the guy that is going to be the next 10 years making WrestleMania his bitch.
Relax. Look. All right, so let's you know what? Let's go with the argument. So if everything you're saying is reality, if Seth Rollins is the new Mr. Mania, then he already has that accolade. Finn Balor, he needs a prominent WrestleMania match. Since Finn Balor won the first ever Universal title and then had to drop it 24 hours later, a year and a half ago, he has never been the same. And Finn Balor fans might not want to hear that, but that's the reality. Finn Balor, it's great that he's out there with his buddies and his boys. Fun, yay. Too sweet, but the reality is Finn Balor is in a desperate need to have a marquee match, to have a memorable night. He has not done anything since he won that Universal title on a night where he got hurt. Obviously,
here's the thing though, Justin, with Finn Balor is it Finn's fault though? I don't necessarily know if it's Finn's fault because WWE hit the Brock Lesnar button and gave him the Universal Championship again. And honestly, there's a few people, there's a couple of people that wouldn't mind seeing Brock Lesnar versus Finn Balor, but it's not realistic. You know,
Okay,
in a world where you want realism, it's not realistic for him to be in the marquee matchup at WrestleMania right now.
Okay, but your question of is it his fault, that's irrelevant. The point is we are where we are.
It's not irrelevant. What do you mean? No, it's not irrelevant because you look at Finn Balor. Finn Balor came into WWE, came into NXT, he faced guys like Samoa Joe. So is it his fault? It might be his fault that Finn Balor is not at the point where he was because when he came back, yeah, creative and booking and everything else, but you don't get that drive, that desire. You don't get Finn Balor. He does 4 moves and that's it. So, yeah, maybe it is scripting. But I do think it's a little bit more Finn Balor's fault because you look at Finn Balor, he's not capitalizing on what they've given him sometimes.
We've gotten Rollins cashing in and swinging that title around in Mania, as you talked about. We've gotten Seth Rollins versus the grand entrance of a Triple H at Mania. We have yet, Finn Balor has been in the company now for how many years, and we have yet to see the demon entrance at WrestleMania.
He's only missed 1 WrestleMania because of injury.
Okay, but we are where we're at, and the point is that all the more reason he hasn't had any Mania moments at all. Like he hasn't had anything. At least you could say Rollins has a short Mania reel. So
I can understand that. So where do you book Finn? Because I think it's inevitable that he's going to face the Intercontinental Champion, The Miz. Not a bad match, not a marquee match. So I think that's pretty much written in pen right now. Where does Rollins go from here?
Well, again, I don't know if that's in pen, but I mean,
you don't think so?
I mean, I could see it happening. But I don't think it's. I don't think we're at the point to say it's in pen. I don't know. I'm not sure where. I mean, everything's so open-ended. The point is, we're talking. We have not yet seen the Ronda Rousey segment that's happened in Elimination Chamber. So I mean, you could literally plug anybody in to potentially being with Ronda, assuming it's going to be a mixed tag, which Juice and Katie and I have already been talking about that. I mean, you can literally plug almost anybody in that's of a name, whether it's as high dollar as The Rock, which I just don't think is realistic, whether it's Braun, whether it's Seth, whether it's Finn, whether it's Kurt, whether it's whoever. I mean, you could literally plug almost anybody in with Ronda. So until we get that figured out, it's kind of wide open.
Well, let me ask you this. You've been the guy that's constantly said, since Finn Balor's won the Universal Championship and came back from injury, he hasn't been the same. How does he become Finn Balor again?
Well, there has to be a direction of putting him in things that matter. There's been nothing that's been mattering to him. I also think they might need to reevaluate and say, okay, do we want to continue to have Finn Balor be the guy that you see 360 days a year, and then those other 5 days you're going to get to see the Demon? The problem is the Demon's great, and I understand it's a lot of work and process to put the actual paint and everything on, but for as long as he's going to be Finn Balor at most of the shows, but then pulls the Demon out on just those few special shows, it's very hard for the Demon to not make then Finn Balor look like a guy who's out there popping his leather jacket collar 15 times. That's just it. So they might have to reevaluate and say, look, if you got this Demon thing in your bag, maybe that's what we're going to have to go with from now on. So. All right, at Josh Osborne 4, at Justin LeBar again. You can go to our social media. We have all the details about the WrestleMania Day party. If you want to share it with any friends, convince them to come. It's going to be a great time. Spirits on Bourbon, not a far walk from Superdome, so we'll be all wrapped up just in time for you to go and enjoy the 10-hour extravaganza.
Can you give me a 2 sweet? Can you give me a 2 sweet?
No. No. I'll give you a 2 sweet at Spirits on Bourbon. How about that?
No, I don't want it anymore.
Fine, it's off the table.
It's over. We're done.
We're done. We're done for the weekend. End of the playlist. Thanks to everybody. We are off next week. No show next week. We'll be back in 2 weeks. CSR on Wrestling Inc.